See students, you will have your first assessment next week. So when you would like to have? Tell a date on 11, 12, 13. On which day? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Fix a date from 11, 12, 13th, any of that for assessment, first assessment. Whatever the portions completed by Dr. Mary and myself will be there for the test. Excluding today's portion. Shall I fix it on 12th?
Ma'am, 11th, ma'am.
Any time?
Any time is fine.
Okay. The 11th, 4 to 5. Shall I fix?
Ma'am, 11th we have like evening we have lab classes now. From 3 to 5 we have lab classes.
After 5 or 5:30?
And else we will discuss our class members and we will inform you in the group.
Discuss, you have to inform me today, but 11th, 12th or 13th. Anything is okay
Yes,
for us. Tell the date and time also.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, will it be for like how many marks will it be?
25%. Weightage is 25%. It's for 25 marks, 1 hour. It's a written test.
Okay.
One second, let me share my slides. This rigid payment slide I will share, and that Excel sheet anyway because I will take that later, so that's not there for the test. Only whatever I took in the presentation alone, it will be there. The slide is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So here next, see in fourth unit we have seen about the payment materials and design. Okay. Next, so after designing, you have to make it into the field. That's a construction part. So this unit deals with payment, construction, and maintenance and management. So first is how to go about the constructions, and first on subgrade, subbase, then subgrade. Subbase, base course, then about the bituminous layer construction and all. Okay. So to have a fill or fill empackment, no, you have subgrade. Subgrade means either it can be like natural subgrade. If it is weak means you may have to dump some material, or if you want to elevate the height like in fill section, some empackment have to be formed. So what are the requirements of an empackment? Okay. So soil is the most common fill material you are using for dumping or filling the empackment. You are using the soil, and this need for suitable materials and proper quality controlling is important. It's not like that you're just filling the material. You can fill any material. If that material itself, if it is not of standard or not of that specification, or if that material is weak, then your entire empackment itself will fail. Okay, so the material what you are using for the filling is also important. So there's a need for the suitable materials and proper quality controlling during execution part. And there are specifications like more that the Ministry of this roads also, they have road transportation also have levied specification, and if it is for low volume roads like rural road, specification manual is there. So payment at its failure can occur due to settlement of this embankment or fill, or if you are not compacting the subgrade properly also, this failures can occur. So earthwork for embankment and subgrade. So suitability. So when you are choosing the material, you should see that it's free from like peat or perishable and other organic material, and it should not be spontaneously this combustible, and the liquid limit should be less than, this is very important, liquid limit value should be less than 70, and the plasticity index value should be less than 45. Okay. So soils which have salts are not suitable, and should see that the free swell index more than 50% should not be used. Soils having the swell index more than 50% should not be used. See, if you're taking clay, black cotton, so no, you will have swell index of very high percentage. So you should not use such type of soil, even it's for filling also. And the total sulfate content of the soil more than it is 0.5% must be avoided. And there are specifications in the size also, like so maximum size of clods or any lumps, it should be less than 75 mm. If it is used for embankment filling, if it is for subgrade, it should be less than 50 mm, and maximum particle size should be less than 2/3 of the compacted layer thickness. See, if your compacted layer thickness is 150, then at least 2/3 of that size only you can just use the maximum particle size. Okay. And as I mentioned, there are specifications levied by the subgrade and embankment as per the MoRTH and rural roads also. So this one is as per MoRTH. So as per MoRTH specification, if you are compacting the embankment up to 3 meters, embankments up to 3 meter height, and when it is not subjected to extensive flooding, the maximum laboratory dry unit weight, it should not be less than 15.2 kilonewton per meter cube. Okay, and if the embankment height exceeds 3 meter, okay, and in that case it should not be less than 16 kilonewton per meter cube. If it is used, if it is for subgrade and other earthen shoulders and verges, then in that case it should not be less than 17.5 kilonewton per meter cube. So you should, after compacting the embankment, you should check for this density and all. Okay. And that was as per MoRTH specification. Okay, as per MoRTH specification. So as per this rural road specification, embankment up to 3 meters high, when it is not subjected to extensive flooding. So extensive flooding, it should not be less than 14.4. If it exceeds 3 meters high, then 15.2 kilonewton per meter cube, and for subgrade and earthen shoulders, it should not be less than 16.4. So whether you are using as per MoRTH specification, say for MoRTH specification mostly for national highways, then for state highways, other roads you will use this. For rural artist roads, for this rural roads, what it meant is for low volume roads. For low volume roads, you can have this specification. Okay. And this is earthwork for embankment. So in the spreading of materials in layers and bringing, say even we told you like the material, even you can have embankment for 3 meters, 5 meters and all. It's not possible for you to dump this entire 3 meter at material over there and compact from the top. Then definitely it won't compact properly. So what you have to do is you have to spread the material in layers, in different layers, and then compact each layer, then have at least another layer like that. So when you are doing this, and try to see that the layer thickness is not exceeding 200 mm as per MOR specification, and as per the rural road specification it should be between 150 to 300. That depends on what is the type of the soil, what is the equipment. See, if you are using like the static compactor and all, then only less thickness you can compact. Instead, if you are using like vibratory rollers or compaction equipment, in that case it is possible to compact more thickness of this soil layer. So you should check for the compaction equipment and other specifications also. And moisture content, it should be between this method, try to have it be optimum moisture content, and it should be within -2% to optimum to +1% of OMC, optimum moisture content. Try to see and check for the moisture content of that material also. Okay, sometimes if it is rainy season, then you should check for the moisture content of that material also. And moisture to be added, to be decided based on the weather condition. That's why check for the climatic condition. As far as possible, if it is like expansive soils, it should be compacted at the most with optimum moisture content. If not, at least on the wet side. Wet side means slightly the moisture content can be higher than the optimum moisture content, but not on the dry side. Dry side means it should not be less than the optimum moisture content. Okay. Then other is a capping layer of better materials to be provided in layer of higher clay soils. So if you have like clay soils, which is very weak and very problematic also, in that case what you can have is instead of directly having the layer over that, can have a good material over this clay soil. A capping, a small layer of good soil can be provided over the this weak soils. So the compaction requirements, whenever you come, see in the lab you are testing the optimum moisture content and the maximum dry density. So in the field you should try to achieve this maximum dry density. No? For that only you are checking the field density. So whenever you are testing the field density, the dry density from that field divided by, that's a field dry density divided by the maximum dry density obtained in the lab into 100, that's called the compaction, relative compaction. Okay, so this value, if it is for subgrade and earth shoulders as per MOR specification, it should not be less than 97%. So you should have the compaction level more than 97% if it is for subgrade and earthen road. If it's for empakment, this value should not be less than 95%. And especially if you are using expensive soil, it is not preferred to use this for subgrade and this 500 mm portion just below the subgrade. And if you are using for the remaining portion of the empakment or for filling it, then in that case it should not be less than 90%. Okay. And as per this rural road specification, if it is for a granular subbase and stabilized subbase, then it should not be less than 98%. For empakment, it should not be less than 97. The relative compaction level should not be less than 97%. And for subgrade and earthen shoulder at 100%. So up to the maximum dry density level, you should compact it. Under specific conditions, say under problematic, or if it is a waterlogged areas, or it is a canal bund is there. In that case, what is that special things you have to do for this empakment and all? Okay. So earthwork over existing at its road surface, then empakment construction in waterlogged areas. If another problem is earthwork over existing road surface, means already road surface is, they say it might have damaged, but about that then you are planned to create reconstruction and all. Okay, so how to go about it? Other one is empakment construction in waterlogged areas. Okay, in waterlogged areas where it's very smash, it's other one, earthwork over existing road surface. There are different methods, either scarify the existing material, other is you can just rejuvenate and use that existing road materials itself. That's called wrap material. Okay, it is rejuvenated or reclaimed asphalt pavement. You can use the existing material itself for the artist road, for the construction. Then construction of embankment over the soft soil, then inadequate compaction of backfill material in trenches dug for service. You have constructed the road, but after that the trenches have dug for like services, either for telephone cable or electric or water pipes and all, trenches have done. So in that case, it's very difficult to compact for small area. You can compact with the compactor machinery. Say for trenches and all, it will be for very less width, less than 1 meter width, and also for compacting that it's very difficult. So that it's very the problem in that areas. Okay. Say suppose you have a soft clay, there are artist provisions like this. I think you might have, I don't know, you will be studying or you might have studied in this geotechnical. You can have this vertical sand drain so that the soils here, it will be compacted. So it's one method of this you having the road or embankment above the soft clay. You can have the sand drains can be there. You have to drill and fill this with sand. Okay, there are different n number of techniques are there. You can fill with other materials, geosynthetics and geotextiles can be used. Okay, there are other artist methods also. This again is a band drains is there, where it's a sand blanket also it's provided as a cushion. Okay, and up to this hard strata you can have this band drains can be there. This is if you have soft clay layer. Okay. Then if it is for high embankment, if the embankment is very high, these failures can occur within the body of the embankment. Say if you are not designing is properly, incorrect design practices, then poor quality of filling materials. It's very, embankment is very high. If you are not using the proper filling material, then in that case also failure can occur. Then improper construction methods, if you are not using proper compacting equipment or proper thickness of the layers, then it can have the lack of quality control. We have seen that you should check for the density also. If you're not able to, if you're not checking the density in the fill, then this failures can occur. That's within the body of the embankment. And failures that's involving foundation, like inadequate subsoil investigation. If you're not investigating, or if you're not knowing the correct type of soil and all, this failure can occur. So design of high embankment using Morth or any other suitable software you can use, and the factor of safety 1.25 for economical design can be there. The stability analysis very important in case of this embankment construction, especially for and also the stability is very important. So this can fail, slow failure can be there, either like it can fail in the slope or in the toe failure can be there, base failure can be there. Okay, or it can fail in any of this also. That's a composite failure can also be there. So you should check how these things before constructing the embankment. So even though whatever the quality control you are checking, say if you are seeing this in a like can see it's a very good road, no, it's very infrastructure is very fine, but see in depth if you are seeing the failure can occur. Okay, you can see the failure here. But in a broader way, it's see the what's the infrastructure, how much it is it is invested in this. But see the condition of the road. It's a newly constructed road only, but the failure can occur here. You can see the development of cracks here. See this, the picture shown as here is for rutting. This is rutting. Rutting means you can see the depressions along the wheel path. Along the wheel path, see, it's parallel to the center line. Along the wheel path alone, you can see the depressions. That is called the rutting. Okay, so what might be the reason for this failure? So if this failure, rutting or this crack can occur if you are not compacting. See here, Okay, it is not compacted, so it has sunken. So this will be reflect in the top layers also. You can see here. Okay, so the compaction is very important. Even though it's a lower layer and very less stress coming is in the lower layers, but the compaction of the layer is very important. You can see it is here also. Okay, so compaction of the layer is very important. You should rectify this defects. So stability of the foundations, empactment foundation is weak, and so you have to evaluate the stability and estimate the factor of safety also. Settlement means so consolidation and settlement of foundation. Okay, the settlement of fill can be or like it can be due to both this. So settlement can occur if the empactment consists of principal. So I don't know, somebody want please mute your mic. So if the empactment consists of compressible soil with high moisture content, this consolidation can occur due to the passage of the vehicles. Okay, due to the increase in the load, consolidation can occur. And settlement in fill is due to inadequate If you are already compacted, you can avoid this. Otherwise, what will happen? This will settle. Okay, due to the passage of traffic over the period, this will cause settlement. So that's why the compaction is very important. So settlement is complete. So it is desirable to complete the settlement before construction. So when settlement, so you have seen many times like they will have the this empactment or compacted or subgrade layer will be there, but with that itself it might be open to traffic. The advantage is that then it will settle by with the traffic itself. So before having the layer above that itself, it will have settled itself. Okay, this what I mentioned. This is a compaction of ground with underlaying cables, water pipelines, and sewer lines, etc. So settlement of payment due to improper. So it's very difficult to compact this portion and all. No, your compacting equipment and all, it can't reach here. Okay, near the backfill or trenches, near this edges or near this point, it's very difficult. So here you can have what is failure with that. Other one, this investigation. This is a typical cross section of an empactment. You can see they have had a sand layer was there, earthwork was there, and you see some of the defects there. This is an effect of earthquake on empactment. Can see a shallow cracks in road pavement and deep and wider cracks in the empactment also. Okay, this due to earthquake. See depth of crack up to 1 meter, and see the width of crack is 10 to 80 centimeter. Okay, near to 1 meter the width of the crack is there. Okay, this is a failure on the, see these type of failure can occur. This is a failure on the slopes of the empactment. That's why whenever you're constructing the empactment, slope stability is very important. This you can see some picture of sinking of the side slopes. No, it has sunken. Then that severe damage to stone pitching on the empactment slopes also. So the failure of slopes is very important. So stability analysis for earthquake forces also you have to consider, like with or without earthquake forces depending on the height of the empactment. Okay. So some of the findings from this observations was that this field and laboratory test indicate that the empactment was on the verge of instability. Even under the normal load itself, it was not stable. That was the reason for the failure. Okay, this long-term stability would have increased due to the consolidation of subsoil, but that will take many years to have its consolidation by itself. So due to this disturbance caused by earthquake, this empactment failed due to low undrained shear strength. And the recommendations what you can do is reconstruction by adopting stone column technique to accelerate the consolidation of subsoil. Okay, and some of the other like remedial measures, what it can be done, like if the embankment height is up to 3 meter. So what you can do is you can have, you can see here, this is this is a railway embankment side, this is a river side. Okay, this is a embankment and this on the river side, so water is here. So you can have stone pitching over here with an earth cover, and on this railway embankment side provide stone pitching, then turfing means growing of small grasses, right? Then here you have to provide a filter material wrapped in geotextiles can be provided to up to a 6 meter, can be provided to a depth of 0.5 meter, and check for the slope of the embankment and all. This when the embankment height is up to 3 meters. Okay. If it is above like 3 to 5 meters, you can have again this geotextile wrapped with the filler layer. Thing is that can be for 1 meter, but for 5 to 6 meter. But on the river side have 2 slopes like this. Okay. So this will improve the stability of the slope. Again, if your embankment height is more than 5 meter, see what you have to do here. So here what you had, this is 1.5 meter stone pitching, this 1 meter height to up to 5 to 6 meter only you provided geotextile. If it is above like 5 meter, 8 to 10 meters of geotextile layer you can at least provide. Okay, these are some of the remedial measures, because especially like if it is canal bunds, you can see the road here and there's a canal here. If you are not properly compacting here, definitely the failure can occur in the field, especially this canal, can see the failure. Okay, because it was not compacted properly, so it will definitely it will compact due to the, or it will settle due to the passage of the vehicle. So like this different compaction these failures can occur. The problem, so in maintaining this road running on canal and drain bunds is this formation of embankment and subgrade and making up of berms with, and usually on the side of the canal the soils will be usually with highly plastic and expansive in nature. Okay, so improper compaction of embankment and subgrade formation, even the problem is that already the soil there is problematic. Adding to that, if you are not compacting properly, this will add on the problem. So the some situations in this canal bund is sometimes the water in canal is running full. Okay, that's one situation. Other is during drain down condition. Okay, drain down means suddenly the water level getting reduced. Then other issue is huge difference in water level on either side of the road. So there can be a road there on both sides of the road for like water bodies can be there. In one water body, the height of the water level might be 3 meter. In other side, the water level might be at 1 meter or 1.5. Then there's a difference in that. It's a problem. Other one is immediately after silt clearance or trimming of cross section of the flow. See, these conditions can occur. Like one is when water is in the canal is fully, it's running. Other is drained on. Suddenly the water is draw down. No, there's no water in that. Huge difference in water levels on either side of the road immediately after silt. The problem, see, most of this canal run on this black cotton soil, which are highly plastic and expansive in nature, and on such canals, so it shall be formed with 3:1 slope or 4:1, so that it will, by slope itself, some stability can be obtained. Okay, otherwise what you have to do is canal lining, or you have to form a retaining wall is necessary to protect. So in the range of 1 horizontal to 1 vertical or 1.5:1, there's neither lining or non-retaining wall is at most places you can see this. So that's a reason for it is failure of this, and highly vulnerable to damage, especially during drawdown condition, or if you are again see already the slope is very less, again if you are doing the trimming of the bed or slopes and all, then the failure can occur. Other one is the failure due to the canal drain down canal or drain slopes during drawdown condition. Okay, that's when the say suppose when the canal runs full of water, it is fully, then what will happen is, if the canal runs fully, what will happen? This pores and swelling pressure will act on because water hose will be exerted on the slopes. Okay, some of this water will go in the pores of this bund also. So what will happen? This counter forces will be act. This pores and swelling pressure will act as a counter force. Okay, suppose if you are just draining this water suddenly, it's not slowly, suddenly if you are just draining this water, what will happen? You won't have this water forces exerted on the slopes, you will have only the pore and swelling pressure force acting. So this will collapse this canal bund or that is road above that. Got it? I don't know whether you understood. So the problem is that when the water runs full, the water forces will exert pressure on the slopes and picks up some soil chunks. Okay, and after saturation, so something will be there, and until the saturation, the slopes pore pressure develops in soil of the slopes and the water forces is counterated. So both this will at its balance and it will come in an equilibrium state. So during drawdown condition, the water force acting on the slope is suddenly removed. So there is no at is water force. So this water force is suddenly removed, and there is no opposing force to counteract this force coming from this pores and swelling. So this results in pushing of the soil slices into the canal. Okay, this will cause the damage to the road at its formations over that. So sudden shutdown of the canals and all cause extensive damage. Okay, suddenly, like if it's dam, if you are opening the dams and all, and if it suddenly shut down, this conditions can occur. Okay, so when the water is fully initially this pore and swelling, this water force will act, and this water will go into the pores of some soils will come out also initially. Okay, but later these two will form an equilibrium state. Suddenly if you're just removing this water, like water force is not there, only this blue color, this pressure from the pores and swelling pressure will be there. So this entire mass will come out. Okay, this will collapse the road on the bund and all. So compaction of the soil is very important. So compaction of the embankment and soil or subgrade on the road is like laying a good first. So whenever you're constructing a building or a house, it's very important to lay good foundation. Similar way, this compaction of embankment and subgrade is equally important. And even after soaking, say if an area like canal bund or some other area during rainy season, like if the soil soaked, then it becomes weak. Adding to that, if you're not compacting also, then it is add-on problem. So at least even after soaking, if you have compacted the subgrade properly, it can have higher retained strength. Okay, so you can save significant maintenance cost by compacting the embankment and subgrade. If you're not compacting, this entire road will get collapsed. However good you have constructed the top layers. So the objectives of soil compaction is one is to this will increase the strength, this will reduce the compressibility, reduction in the tendency of the subsequent changes in the moisture content. This will reduce the erodibility and reduction in the frost susceptibility also. So what are the factors influencing when you are compacting the soil? What are the factors influencing? First is the types of soil. Okay, whether you're compacting a gravelly soil, a moram soil, or say problematic soil like clay and black cotton. The soil type of soil is very important. You can choose the material or you can choose the compacting equipment based on the type of the soil. And the other thing is say sand or other things. So your whether you can compact properly also depends on the type of soil. Okay. Other one is moisture content. What is whether it's an optimum, whether with optimum or with dry of optimum or wet side of optimum. And you should check for the moisture content of the existing soil itself and the weather conditions. All this will change the moisture content. Then compactive effort. What's the energy applied per unit weight of soil? Now, what is that load you are giving? What's the weight of the rammer? What's the height of the fall? And the number of blows or number of passes. Blows means if you're by lab and all, it's blows, right? If it is equipment, it will be, it's called as number of passes. Number of passes on the road. How many passes? The weight of the roller, number of passes. So the moisture density relationship, again, that depends on the soil type. Okay, so depending on the soil, the water content to be used and the maximum dry density with which you can compact the soil also will vary depending on the type of the soil. Okay. So there are many machineries we can use for compacting the embankment or road construction. Like rollers, you can have smooth wheel rollers, sheet-foot rollers, pneumatic tied rollers, then vibratory rollers. Or these rollers, the type that depends on what is the type of the soil, what is the height with which you have to compact. This depends on that. Okay. Other like small equipments like small vibratory rollers, plate vibrators, rammers. We have seen like trenches or wherever utility cuts and all, you can use the small rollers can be used. So feed compacting machinery compactors. First one like smooth wheel rollers. This is a figure of a smooth wheel roller. So this it can be used for compacting the subgrade base and asphaltic surfaces also. And this suitable for compacting gravel, sand and crushed rock. So you can 8 to 10 ton rollers can be used. Okay, and speed of the roller is 3 to 6 kilometer per hour. And these are the machinery for earthwork like dozers and all, no? Like moving, leveling and all, you are using this. And other one, sheet foot rollers, this used in sheet foot rollers. This is a pictorial view of a sheet foot rollers. This is used in road and earthen dam works. This for compacting heavy clay and silty clays. And this is an important parameters. In this case, you should check for the what is the weight of the roller, area of each foot. Okay, weight of the roller, area of each foot. What is this? Area is important. And what are the number of foots or lugs in contact with the ground? Contact area of the foot. Okay, number of how many lugs or how many foots are there and how much area is in contact with that is very important. Other one is this is pneumatic tied roller, pneumatic tied roller. And for this one, this used for both earthwork and bituminous work, suitable for cohesionless gravel, sand and cohesive soil also. And the parameter into consideration here is the tire inflation pressure in the tire and the area of contact. No, how much area of this tire is in contact with the pavement, that's very important. And other roller is vibratory roller. And vibratory roller is higher compaction level you can obtain with this vibratory roller. So you can, what you can do is you can compact for higher or greater depth. Instead of compacting for 100 with smooth wheel roller, if you are using this vibratory roller, you can compact even 150 or 200 and all can be compacted. So output from this vibratory roller is many times more than the conventional rollers, and this is suitable for compacting sand and gravels. In this, the dead weight, what is the weight of this vibratory roller, what's the frequency with which it's vibrating, amplitude, and area of contact is important. So one a pictorial view is given. So okay, this is a structure of a compacted material using static rollers. If you are just using static roller, what will happen? It is just pressing the material. Now you can see lot of voids here. Instead, for the same layer, if you are using vibratory roller, can see all this voids is filled with this finer material. So that's why it's important with this vibratory roller is many fold. It effect is many fold than the this conventional this rollers. Okay, so static roller, if you can just it will press, you can see lot of voids will be there. Instead, if you are using vibratory roller, all these voids are filled with this material also. So its compaction is very high, or density is very high. So this vibratory plate compactors, which can be used for like near the trenches or compound wall, or near this utility cuts, you can use that. So vibratory plate it is compactor. This used for small roadworks and narrow areas such as trench backfilling and all, suitable for compacting thin layers. It can be tractor towed also. You can just connect with a tractor also. And rammers you can use provide this will provide impact loading. Impact loading means you're loading, you're just dropping it from a height. This suitable for compacting small areas, backfilling of the trenches in foundations. So this is suitable for compacting cohesive as well as non-cohesive soils. This is operated manually. So lift thickness during compaction. Lift thickness means how much you can compact. That's very important. That depends on what is the type of roller. As I mentioned, if you are using vibratory roller, you can have more lift thickness. Then weight of the roller, then type of rollers. No, weight of the roller. More weight means more thicker, more lift thickness can be compacted. Type of soil, whether it is a gravelly, sand, or clay, whatever you're compacting. Number of passes, whether it is 2 pass, 5 pass, and if the more number of passes, the compaction will be more, but not beyond a limit. Now, if it is beyond some limit, you can see cracks will be developed in the layer. Then prevailing, what is the moisture content? What's the degree of compaction required? Degree of compaction, whether you are aiming for 97% or 100% of compaction in the field. Okay. Any doubt?